Hello everyone. Back again with Brain Game. We have collected top 10 new Android games from February 2022. Android gaming is getting bigger and better every month it seems, and there is always a slew of new titles coming to Google Play. Whether you're a casual gamer or you want something with a bit more meat on its bones, there's usually a game coming out to suit everyone's taste. Some months are better than others, but there is usually at least one great new game on mobile every month. Let's take a look at the best new Android games from the last month. Just go ahead, top 10 new Android games from February 2022. 1. Angry Birds Journey. Angry Birds Journey is a return to form for Rovio. It's a classic Angry Birds experience where you whip birds into pigs in order to complete levels. The game boasts hundreds of levels, power-ups to make things easier, rewards to collect, and a story to play through. The mechanics are pretty basic for an Angry Birds game, and fans of the series can pick it up and play immediately. There are only a couple of downsides. The birds don't feel as impactful as prior games, and the overall physics are a little lackluster. Plus, the in-app purchases are a little aggressive, and that's always a turn-off. 2. Awaken, Chaos Era. Awaken, Chaos Era is a mobile RPG with some gacha elements. The core mechanics are pretty typical. Players summon heroes, level them up, and then use them to beat up bad guys. There is a campaign for players to follow, complete with cutscenes. Some other features include a PvP mode, guild bosses, and other stuff. It's a gacha, though, with the usual gacha pitfalls, so beware of those. 3. Deemo 2. Deemo 2 is the sequel to the popular rhythm adventure game from Rayark. Players embark on an adventure where they also must use music to progress. The rhythm game section is polished and enjoyable, although it can be a little iffy on older or lower-end devices. The story is subjectively good as well. There are 30 songs in the base game along with more than 90 other tracks. It's not without its issues, but it's definitely a good game for its genre. 4. Kero Blaster. Kero Blaster is actually a unique game release. There are a total of 3 games in this launch. The first 2 are Pink Hour and Pink Heaven. You play as a character from Kero Blaster as a sort of demo mode that familiarizes you with the gameplay. After that, you play Kero Blaster. It's a side-scrolling shooter and platformer. You use various guns and jumps to make your way through each area. The graphics are retro and the gameplay feels good. It's a bit expensive, but technically you do get 3 different games. 5. League of Pantheons. League of Pantheons is another gacha mobile RPG. It uses mythologies from multiple regions and eras to instill a sense of familiarity with players. The game boasts over 100 heroes to summon. Different combinations of heroes can do different things together in the form of combos and synergies. It also helps that new players get 200 free summons in the first week. Otherwise, it's a fairly standard mobile RPG. The combat is pretty easy to get into and there is plenty of grinding. You have the usual free-to-play pitfalls, but otherwise, it's a solid game in the genre. 6. Linia Super. Linia Super is the sequel to Linia, a reasonably decent puzzle game from a few years ago. This new version keeps a lot of the puzzle mechanics intact while adding a bunch of new levels and some extra mechanics. The puzzles are presented in sets so the player can progress through the game in whatever path they choose. It's honestly one of the better free puzzle games you can get, and there are no in-app purchases to mess things up. 7. Little Big Robots. Little Big Robots is an online multiplayer game featuring mech combat. Players can unlock and upgrade robots and then use them to do battle against other players. Most of the game centers around this core premise, as do most of its features. The online PvP has a couple of different game modes across a few different levels. There are also different weapons and abilities for each bot. This one is also free with no in-app purchases as of the time of this writing, but it feels like there could be some there eventually. 8. Mirage, Perfect Skyline. Mirage, Perfect Skyline is a mobile MMORPG that is a lot like other mobile Mmorpgs. You create a character, roam around the world, and do quests. There are also mounts, 8 classes to choose from, a multiplayer mode, and cooperative play as well. The movement controls could use a little work, but otherwise, the mechanics are about as you would expect. The only real downside is the aggressive microtransactions that will definitely try your patience, even if you are fairly tolerant of aggressive microtransactions. Nine. RPG Dice, Heroes of Whitestone. Dice, Heroes of Whitestone is a board game mixed with an RPG. You explore the game world by throwing some dice and moving where the game tells you to move. From there you do what the board says to do. The RPG elements are pretty typical. You level up your characters, fight battles, and explore. The board game movement is something different as well. There are also PvP battles, guilds, leaderboards, and various heroes to collect. It's actually not half bad, and the fusion of board game and RPG works better than expected. Turmoil. Turmoil is a business simulator where you run a 19th century oil business. It starts with a plot of land where you discover oil. From there, build pipelines, refineries, and other things necessary to run an oil business. The developers say you win the game when you get super rich and become the mayor of your town. The free trial is a bit short, but the full game is relatively inexpensive at $2.99, and there is already DLC out for an additional $1.99. If we missed any great new Android games, tell us about them in the comments. You can also click here to check out our latest Android apps and games lists.